2,000 Protestants died within 50 years in the Netherlands. 3,000 to 4,000 French Huguenots died in the massacre of St. Bartholomew, August 23, 1572. I'm fascinated by timepieces. I was out in Walla Walla, Washington. Somebody heard that and carried me to a store where they have ancient clocks, grandfather style. When I walked in, they told the man who I was and what I liked, and he took a special interest in me, and he unlocked the door. He said, "Pastor, I'm going to show you something I only show to dealers." And when we went out of that first room that was utterly fascinating into the second room, it was full of antique clocks, some of them dating back to these years. And he said to me, all of these clocks were made in France. And the Huguenots were the master clocksmiths. And I said to myself, why then did Switzerland become the time capital of the world? Even today, they tell you got a Swiss movement. And I got on a plane. This is providential. It's the truth. I got on a plane flying home, and they have, you know, those magazines in the airplane, and they had an article on how Switzerland became the time capital. During papal persecution, they were killing these Huguenots so fast because they wouldn't go along with papal dogma that many of them fled over into Geneva, which was a neutral country, and settled there and brought their trade with them. Even looking at watches and clocks, we learned the truth. Some sources estimate that at least 50 million lives were destroyed during the Dark Ages. That's what dear Pope John 23rd was talking about. And the relics are still around. When you cross the Victor Hugo Bridge into the Vatican, there is the Casa d'Angelo, the House of Angels, a torture chamber of years gone by. Number 3, they would speak great words, they would wear out the saints, and number 3, think to change times and laws. Now I must watch my time. Ladies and gentlemen, follow me. Question. This is from a catechism. I have a copy of it. Question. Which day is the Sabbath day? Answer. Saturday is the Sabbath day. Question. Why do we observe Sunday instead of Saturday? Now I am assuming that whoever said to me in a question tonight, we're obeying the new covenant, I'm just assuming you haven't read it and thought it through. Now you have no excuse. All of this stuff about why in honor of the resurrection, that's foolishness. I'm going to show you why. And you can go to your library and read it. Question, which day is the Sabbath? Answer, Saturday is the Sabbath. Question, why do we observe Sunday instead of Saturday? Answer, we observe Sunday instead of Saturday because the Catholic Church transferred the solemnity from Saturday to Sunday. That's from Reverend Peter Gehrman, the Convert's Catechism of Catholic Doctrine. I have a copy in my library. And they don't mind me telling you this. They believe the church has the right to change God's law. So what did they do? They kept number 1 and number 2, and they moved out the one that says thou shalt not bow down to idols, and they made the 4th the 3rd, and in order to make it up, they split the last one in 2, and they still have 10. They thought to change times and laws. The Church of God has thought it well to transfer the celebration and observance of Sabbath to Sunday. That's from 1958 Catechism of the Council of Trent for parish priests. They don't deny it. They don't care if you know. They're not offended with me telling you this. In fact, if you go to a learned priest, ask him, who changed the Sabbath? He'll tell you. He doesn't mind you knowing. Protestants ought to be ashamed of themselves. Catholics at least have an excuse. The Catholic Church, for over 1,000 years before the existence of a Protestant, by virtue of her divine mission, changed the day from Saturday to Sunday. The Protestant says, how can I receive the teachings of an apostate church? How, we ask, have you managed to receive her teachings all your life in direct opposition to your recognized teacher, the Bible, on the Sabbath question? And that's from the Christian Sabbath, 1893, a Catholic document. They don't mind you knowing. Here's the truth about a wonderful lie. It is easier, said Jesus, for heaven and earth. I want you to read that with me. What does it say? A tittle.